Everybody's ready? All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. We wanted to hold this press conference to go over additional details regarding yesterday's larceny investigation throughout Pittsford, Perinton, and Penfield. We'll be providing a statement for you and then give the opportunity to answer some questions and provide additional details with yesterday's investigation. I'd like to introduce for you Captain Matthew Kreiser of the A-Zone Monroe County Sheriff's Office. His spelling is Kreuzer. And without further ado, Captain Kreiser.
Good afternoon. So I'm Matt Kreiser. I'm the captain of A-Zone for the Sheriff's Office. Here to talk to you guys a little bit more about the events that occurred overnight from Wednesday into Thursday morning. November 13th at about 2:15, we got our first call for a stolen vehicle out in Pittsford. So that drew our attention that someone was out there. Deputies started to investigate that. Over the next couple hours, we got numerous calls for vehicles being broken into, windows being broken, items being stolen. We continued to investigate those calls as well. At one point in the night, a Fairport police officer spotted a Kia Sportage that was in the area of some of these larceny calls. Attempted to stop that vehicle. That vehicle did not stop, and the officer started to pursue that vehicle. We assisted with that pursuit, which ultimately ended near the area of Green Ridge and Green Valley Road after it crashed. The occupants, the 5 occupants of that vehicle, all fled on foot into a wooded area, at which time our deputies set up a quick perimeter and surrounded the area and started searching for the suspects. This led into the daylight hours. While they were doing that, we were getting numerous calls for other vehicle break-ins, windows smashed. Deputies were at the same time investigating some of those and gathering more evidence as to what was stolen. While they were investigating that, we had to call out numerous resources to search for these suspects. It was a great cost to the sheriff's office and to the community. A lot of the community was inconvenienced, not only that, but a lot of members were scared when they saw the number of police that were out. The resources we called in for that were our canine officers. We had multiple canines out there, including an Irondequoit canine that responded. We called in the state police helicopter, and we called in our drone team. Our drone units were checking overhead while our dogs were searching the woods. They went through streams. They went through very difficult conditions, heavy brush, to search for these suspects, ultimately taking 5 people into custody. While they were conducting the rest of their investigation, a deputy located a loaded firearm near the wooded area. That was stolen from a vehicle in Fairport. So we took possession of that. Our investigators interviewed all of the suspects that were taken into custody and attempted to gather statements from them. Out of that investigation, the following people were arrested: Deshaun Wilson, Xavier Goolsby, and a 16-year-old juvenile, which I can't name. They were charged with criminal possession of stolen property in the 3rd, which is a D felony, criminal possession of stolen property in the 4th, an E felony, an additional charge of criminal possession of stolen property 4th for 10 counts of credit cards that were stolen, another E felony, and then possession of burglar tools. A 15-year-old juvenile was also charged with criminal possession of stolen property in the 3rd, which is the D felony. The 17-year-old that was in the car has not been charged yet. Our investigation's ongoing, and we're looking to see if there's any charges that will be applicable to that person. Got to mention, throughout this whole time, the communities that were affected, some were elderly communities, several apartment complexes that were senior living. There were the number of people who woke up to broken windows, their children as they were going out to school. You had to see that. The number of calls we got of concerned citizens, the cost to the community was great. It was emotional, and there was damage estimates as well. This just doesn't end today, though. We're still getting calls throughout the day of other people who have found their property damaged. Obviously, you know this has been going on for a while now. We've been dealing with this over and over. I know we've been up here a few times. I think the punishment for these crimes, we need to start taking a look at and see if we're doing the right thing, if they're severe enough. I think that the age of the people involved, shows that we need to find other ways to communicate with these kids out there and these juveniles on what they're doing, and find ways to get them out of the system and ways to get them to pay for what they're doing. With that said, I'll open it up to any questions. They're from different areas. I don't believe any of them lived in the towns that were affected overnight, but they're throughout the county.
Any kind of motive that they mentioned in this?
As far as motive, there was nothing specific other than they were going out to steal property, and then that was their goal that night, and they hit every car they possibly could.
Had any of them been charged with or had anything like this in the record file?
So 2 of the suspects were charged with, were arrested for other charges recently. However, they've not been convicted of those, so I'm not going to comment on what those charges were.
Do you know what they were using to break the windows and how they were getting into the cars?
I don't know what they were using to break the windows. Sometimes they find objects nearby. Other times they find objects in vehicles and then use those to break windows. And
Is there a higher penalty given the number of cars that were broken into? Does that affect the penalty given?
that'd be up to the court. However, the felony charges do come with a range of punishments the court can dish out depending on their record. I would say that the number of people involved, I would like to see would sway the judge's decision on how they dole out the punishment in this case.
Were all of the places stay, were these senior living communities or apartment complexes?
No, not all of them. There were residential neighborhoods. 2 of the apartment complexes were senior living complexes in Perinton and Penfield. There were numerous neighborhoods hit as well, going from Pittsford all the way to Penfield.
Has the gun been returned to the owner? Was it legally registered?
No, the gun is still in our possession as evidence during our investigation, or the Fairport's investigation.
Besides the video that you got from the air, have we been able to locate some video that recorded this taking place?
Yes, a lot of homeowners had Ring camera video, video that they had on their property, which was very helpful. We'll also check businesses. We're still doing that part of the investigation. Deputies were out today going door to door, trying to see what people had that maybe they didn't even know they were able to record.
You mentioned seeing this repeatedly, and I've spoken with folks that are feeling the same way about there needing to be some form of accountability for the kids, especially that continue to do this. What are some of the ways that we could communicate with kids in the future to try and stop this from happening? What are some of the punishments that you were thinking of that could change your future?
Well, really, what it comes down to is supervision. Most of the parents that we deal with when their kids are arrested at this age don't even know their kids are out and doing these things overnight. Some of it comes down to right there at home, right? What kind of supervision do we have? Do we have the support system in place for parents who do need to work overnight or can't be home with their kids? As far as punishments, I'll leave that up to the court, but I do think that what we're doing right now isn't working.
Is there anything the community can do to help the investigation?
Yeah, if they encounter anything suspicious, even if they think someone went through their car, or if they find something stolen and don't think it's valuable so they don't call, I would encourage them to call, right? If they have something that they don't think is relevant, but it may be to somebody else, just call us and report it. Let us sort out whether or not that's there.
Most people I've spoken to only saw loose change stolen. We also saw yesterday, I think someone had their registration taken. Could you get a little bit more into some of the valuables that were taken?
We had everything from a gun. Numerous credit cards were stolen. People's IDs were stolen. We found IDs throughout the whole county. Reports we don't even know about yet. We've been tracking those down. We had over 100 vehicles between Fairport, Perinton, and Penfield that were hit. Not everybody wanted to press charges or go after it because they had some minor things taken. But when your ID is stolen, it doesn't just stop at your license being stolen or your registration being stolen, right? Your identity can then be, stolen as well after that. So people should take steps to flag their ID with the credit bureaus, make sure that their report is flagged, that their information got out there. We'll do everything we can to get that property back to them, but, it doesn't help depending on if there's stuff out there we don't know got taken.
Did you say you're still getting calls this morning?
We're still getting calls this morning, and we're trying to vet out whether or not they were from yesterday's incident or if somebody else went out and broke into vehicles overnight. These aren't the only kids that are out there doing it.
So would that increase the estimate of vehicles that people broke into?
It would, yes.
So can you give us a number now?
I couldn't give you an exact number now. but I can tell you it was over 100.
But this is maybe one more instance where we.
I'm sorry.
We don't leave good things in our cars. I mean, especially if it's not locked up in a garage or something like this, correct?
I would say yes. I recommend against that all the time. I've been doing this 21 years, and usually it's something that's visible that people can see is valuable that causes them to break a window. Other than that, when people leave their cars unlocked, they just go fishing through the car to see what they can find. So I'd lock the car and make sure nothing's visible that's valuable in the car. And if you have something valuable, bring it inside. I know it's a little extra effort at the end of each night, but it's a good step to take if you want to protect your property.
I know that, this group was responsible for the other night. Do you know if these guys were responsible for other events that have happened recently?
Right now, we're still investigating that. I wouldn't be surprised to find out if they were responsible for other events. We don't have them specifically suspected in other events. Sometimes we find out there's multiple groups each night that don't even know each other that are going out doing these things.
Is this a type of crime common during this time of the year?
This has been going on throughout the entire year. So it's not just this specific time of year that it's common. We had dealt with this all summer, spring. It was rampant.
Was it a trend?
It's been going on for several years, so yeah, I would say it's a trend, especially when they talk about the age of the suspects, most of them being juveniles, late teens, and stolen vehicles, mainly Kias and Hyundais that are going around and breaking into cars. I think this has been well documented over the last 2 or 3 years.
Do we know how they all know each other?
I don't know that.
Was the volume of vehicles involved in this surprising?
I would say, I would love to say yes. I was not surprised by the number of vehicles. What I was surprised is that we had that many people report it. This isn't uncommon for people to go through an entire neighborhood, an entire parking lot, and go through cars and steal things. We were fortunate that somebody woke up in the middle of the night and was able to see something early on, which led us on the right track to start investigating this. Usually these reports come in over the course of several days, and then we find out later on that entire neighborhoods were hit for these kind of things. And so a lot of people just don't report it. They don't see the need to report it, which I would advise you report it all the time, because it's not just you that it affected.
I was over at Village Heights earlier today. It's kind of tucked away. It's not exactly seen from the main road. Was there any indication in the interviews that they had scouted places to go beforehand or why they hit the spots?
No, I believe that most of it was crime of opportunity. You go to where the vehicles are, and then you fan out and you try to see what you can find. All right. Well, if everybody's good, I think we'll end this. Good. All right, thank you.